Well, I have done introverts and anxious people, so now we're going to move on to highly sensitive people. This is a video of 16 habits of highly sensitive people. Number 1, they feel more deeply. One of the hallmark characteristics of highly sensitive people is the ability to feel more deeply than their less sensitive peers. Like, they like to process things on a deep level, such as Ted Zeff, a PhD and author of The Highly Sensitive Person's Survival Guide, and other books on highly sensitive people, tells HuffPost. They're intuitive and go very deep inside to try to figure things out. Number 2, they're more emotionally reactive. People who are highly sensitive will react more in a situation. For instance, they will have more empathy and feel more concern for a friend's problem, according to Aaron. They may also have more concern about how another person may be reacting in the face of a negative event. Number 3, they're probably used to hearing, do not take things so personally, and probably hear a lot, why are you so sensitive? Depending on the culture, sensitivity can be perceived as an asset or a negative trait, Zeff explains. In some of his own research, Zeff says that highly sensitive men he interviewed from other countries, such as Thailand and India, were rarely or never teased, while highly sensitive men he interviewed from North America were frequently, or always even, teased. So a lot has to do with very cultural situations. The same person who is told, oh, you're too sensitive in certain cultures, is considered an asset in others. Number 4, they prefer to exercise solo. Highly sensitive people may tend to avoid team sports where there is a sense of that everyone is watching their every move. In Zeff's research, the majority of highly sensitive people he interviewed preferred individual sports like bicycling, running, and hiking, and group sports. However, this is not a blanket rule. There are some highly sensitive people who have had parents who provided an understanding and supportive environment that would make it easier for them to participate in group sports. Number 5, it takes longer for them to make decisions. Highly sensitive people are always more aware of subtleties and details that could make decisions harder to make. Even if there is no right or wrong decision, for an example, it's impossible to choose a wrong flavor of ice cream. Highly sensitive people will still tend to take longer to choose because they are weighing every possible outcome. My advice for dealing with this is take as long to decide as the situation permits, and ask for more time if you need to take it and can take it. In a recent issue of the Comfort Zone newsletter, it states, during this time, try pretending for a minute, hour, day, or even a week that you have made up your mind a certain way. How does this feel? Often, on the other side of a decision, things look different. This gives you the chance to imagine more vividly that you are already there. One exception. Once a highly sensitive person has come to a conclusion of what is right or wrong, the decision to make. Once a highly sensitive person has come to the conclusion of what is the right decision to make and what is the wrong decision to make in a certain situation, he or she will be quick to make that right decision again in the future. Number 6, and on that note, they are more upset if they make a bad or wrong decision. You know that uncomfortable feeling you get after you realize you've made a decision? A bad decision? For highly sensitive people, that emotion is amplified because the emotional reactivity is higher. Number 7. They're extremely detail-orientated. Highly sensitive people are the first ones to notice the details in a room, the new shoes that you're wearing, or a change in weather. Number 8. Not all highly sensitive people are introverts. In fact, about 30% of highly sensitive people are introverts. That many times highly sensitive people who are also extroverts grew up in a close-knit community, whether it be cul-de-sac, small town, or with a parent who worked as a minister or rabbi, and thus would interact with a lot of people. Number 9. They work well in team environments. Because highly sensitive people are such deep thinkers, they make valuable workers and members of teams. However, they may be well suited for positions in teams where they don't have to make the final decision. For instance, a highly sensitive person, if was a part of a medical team, he or she would be a valuable part in analyzing the pros and cons of a patient having surgery, while someone else would ultimately make the decision about whether that patient would receive the surgery. Number 10. They're more prone to anxiety or depression, but only if they've had lots of past negative experiences. If you've had a fair number of bad experiences, especially early in life, so you don't feel safe in the world or you don't feel secure at home or at school, your nervous system is set to anxious mode. But that's not to say that all highly sensitive people go on to have anxiety, and in fact, having a supportive environment can go a long way protecting against this. Parents of highly sensitive children in particular need to realize these are really great kids, but they need to be handled the right way. You can't overprotect them, but you can't underprotect them either. You have to rate that just right when they're young so they can feel confident that they can do fine. Number 11. That annoying sound that is more significantly annoying to a highly sensitive person. While it's hard to say that anyone has a fan it's hard to say anyone is a fan of annoying noises, highly sensitive people are on a whole more, sensitive to chaos and noise. That's because they tend to be more easily overwhelmed and overstimulated by too much activity. Number 12 is violent movies are the worst. Because highly sensitive people are so high in empathy and more easily overstimulated, movies with violence or horror themes may not be their cup of tea. Number 13, they cry more easily. That's why it's important for highly sensitive people to put themselves in situations where they won't be made to feel embarrassed or wrong for crying easily. If their friends and family realize that that's just how they are, that they will cry easily, and support that form of expression, then crying easily will not be seen as something shameful. Number 14. They have above average manners. Highly sensitive people are also highly conscientious people. Because of this, they're more likely to be considerate and exhibit good manners, and are also more likely to notice when someone else is being conscientious. For instance, highly sensitive people may be more aware of where their cart is at the grocery store, not because they're afraid someone will steal something out of it, because they don't want to be rude and have their cart blocking another person's way. Number 15. The effects of criticism are especially amplified in highly sensitive people. Highly sensitive people have reactions to criticism that are far more intense than less sensitive people. As a result, they may employ certain tactics to avoid such said criticism, including people-pleasing, so that there are no longer anything to criticize. Criticizing themselves first and avoiding the source of their criticism altogether. People can say something negative and a non-highly sensitive person can say whatever, and it doesn't affect them. But a highly sensitive person would feel it much, much more deeply. Number 16. Cubicles equal good. Open office planes equal bad. Just like highly sensitive people tend to prefer solo workouts, they also prefer solo work environments. That many highly sensitive people enjoy working from home or being self-employed because they can control the stimuli in their work environments. For those without the luxury of creating their own flexible work schedules and environments, that highly sensitive people might enjoy working in a cubicle where they have more privacy and less noise than in an open office plan.